Hi YouTube, this is the Peaceful Prepper, and welcome to my Urban EDC for the Single Gal 2015 update. I'm going to share the items I currently carry with me most of the time, and for anyone, especially women who are new to the EDC concept, I want to talk a little bit about why I think a well thought out EDC can be really useful. I hadn't heard the term EDC before I started watching YouTube videos. And there may be some different definitions, but for me it refers to what you carry on your person or in a purse or bag just about every day. For some people, an EDC may be primarily designed to manage an emergency, and for others, it's primarily geared towards their everyday needs. My EDC is primarily geared towards helping my day-to-day life run smoothly. But I think it's important to carry items that are useful if there's some kind of big or small disaster while you're away from home, doing whatever you do during the day. Since I don't like carrying too much, I try to carry items that are useful every day, but could also help in an emergency situation. An important element of that is to think about the emergency applications of the items I carry for other reasons. So if some kind of disaster happened, I'd have a better chance of knowing the resources that are with me and how to apply them. I'll give some examples of that after I show my EDC. Videos on EDC by men greatly outnumber women's videos on YouTube. But I don't think a woman's EDC is necessarily different. I think anyone's EDC should depend on their environment, what their daily activities are, their personality, training, and preferences. Everyone carries some things every day, but they may not think about it as an everyday kit with a purpose. So in my experience, which is in no way universal, and I'm trying to make a point, so this is very exaggerated, some men in the city may go to an extreme and not carry much besides a bare-bones wallet, phone, and keys, so building a useful EDC for them might mean adding a few items. On the other hand, many women already carry a bag with a lot in it, so building a useful EDC could mean looking at the items they have, removing things that they've just collected that aren't useful, thinking about what could be used in emergency as well as for every day, and adding anything that would be important if an emergency or disaster occurred unexpectedly. These are the items that I would rarely be out without, even if I don't have any kind of bag. All of these can go into a pocket, a jacket pocket, etc. And most of them are pretty straightforward. A pair of sunglasses, a lip balm with SPF, a handkerchief, a smartphone in a little pouch that has a stylus in it because I don't do very well texting spelling on the smartphone without a stylus. And this generally I'll have just this very minimal pouch to keep it from getting scratched. Sometimes I use this bigger pouch that has earbuds, another stylus, and a cleaning cloth in it if I'm going to be walking or taking a bus or a train for longer periods of time and I know I want to listen to something, I'll have that. A wallet, and I have the Charlie card, which is for the Boston area, is the transport card. So you put money on this and you can use it on any subway or bus. So I keep that in easy access so I don't really need to pull out my wallet if I'm getting on the subway. Then in here I have an in case of emergency card, and behind that I have a handwritten list of contact information and emergency information just for me. On the ICE card I have my two emergency contacts. My insurance card, under here I have a Fresnel lens. I also have an insert for driver's license, credit cards, bank cards that blocks RFID radio waves. Then my keychain, and I've done a review. This is a KeySmart key compressor, key holder. I have a little thumb light, a whistle, a capsule with 24 hours of my prescription medication. In addition to my keys, which are still in here, I keep a thumb drive. This is the Night Eyes, I think it says on there, Night Eyes doohickey, which gives you a bottle opener, a screwdriver. You can use it as a pry bar. It's just a nice little keychain tool that I use for a variety of reasons. I can also open packages with it. It's not sharp, but when you're just trying to cut through tape, it's not that hard. And then I've done a video called on the Nomad key, which is a USB cable to very small to charge my smartphone. But it wouldn't fit in this, so I've been looking for a replacement, and I found this, which it's kind of a no-name. It was much less expensive, and it's not certified to work with Apple products. But it does, I've tested it out, it can charge, used to be charged my iPhone 5C, and it fits in here, which makes me really happy. And it has, you can't just pull it off, it has a little latch that you push. The way I have it on the keychain, it comes out, you can see it's very small. And I'll show a picture compared to the Nomad key, and you can charge a phone with it. Charge a phone with a lightning, that needs a lightning adapter. And then it's back. And I like having it, I keep my keys in my pocket. I like having it within this because the USB stays cleaner. You can get lint and things in there. And finally, I have this pouch that I'm going to take everything out and show you. These are the items that are crammed into this purse. Hanging outside, I have a little pen, keychain pen. I also have some earplugs. Then I have just a little mini-medi boo-boo kit. I've done a video of my EDC First Aid Kits that I'll probably link below, so I won't open that up. I have a Leatherman Micra, which has great scissors. I have a little flat nail clipper that just has a latch on the side. I have 2 tampons, another stylus, a disposable toothbrush, a lip balm, a couple of stamps. This is a little, I used to carry the very thin yellow Kevlar cord, and this is Technora cord. It's from the same company, just because I think these are very compact, cool little ways of having cord, but it can be any cord. But this is a lot thicker than the Kevlar cord, and I was finding the Kevlar cord, it was harder for me to work with because it was so thin and sort of hard to see when I was trying to knot it. Whoop. Then I just have a wet one, a little deodorant towel, a lens wipe, emergency immune booster, a little thing of hand cream that has some SPF in it, and then all of these things go in this plastic bag to keep them together. It's a variety of safety pins and paper clips, a hair tie, a couple of very small zip ties, part of a thing of matches. I have one of those little widgy, I think it's called widgy pry bar, something like that. I got this one at CountyCom. This is duct tape rolled around a coffee stirrer, and it's not, I don't know how much this is. It's nice to have a little bit. Being so thin, it's not that easy to pull it off, but it works for what I needed. And then I have this packet of 6 or so. I don't know whether the camera will pick it up. These are little plastic stoppers for earrings. And if you wear pierced earrings, you know, sometimes you lose the back, or you're with someone who loses the back, and this can help keep the earring from falling out if something like that has happened. Now, if I'm carrying some kind of bag or purse, I have additional items with me usually. I usually carry, this is just a foldable little grocery bag. I have a larger EDC First Aid Kit that has a little bit more than a boo-boo kit, and I've done a video on that, so I'll link that below. I usually have some kind of protein bar. These are my car keys. They're not part of my most often, because I don't drive every day, and obviously I only have these if I'm driving. So there's the keys. I have a little solar-powered thumb light. I keep a little bit of cash in this little capsule. And then Rescue Me to break glass and cut a seatbelt. I also keep a larger thing of hand lotion. I almost always have just one of these microfiber eyeglass holders. These are my favorite little drugstore reading glasses that I've ever found, and I find they're really comfortable. So they're compact. That's one of my favorite things. And finally, I have, this is a flashlight, but also it is a USB charger for my cell phone. This is the power ad. So with this and my keychain and my phone, I have power. So that's what I'm likely to have in the bag in the winter. And again, I've done a video on this, but this is my extra winter pouch. And you can look at the video, but it has some layers, some things to help me keep me from slipping if I'm out and it just turns out that it's colder than I expected it to be or icier. This has some items that can help keep me from falling and being a little bit warmer. And I often carry a water bottle, especially in the summer. Some items I only carry just in case of an emergency. A whistle, I guess if I had a dog that would have other uses, but for me it's just a signal for help. The car alarm on my car key, my in case of emergency card, and although I've decided not to share my self-defense choices on YouTube, this is also a just-in-case item. But many items that are useful in everyday life could also be useful in an emergency or disaster. And as I've said before, thinking about what might be helpful in an emergency and how it could be useful will help us react more quickly if we need to. These are just some examples, and some are particularly appropriate for an urban environment. Having cash, credit cards, and a subway pass in the city can help you cover a lot of basic needs in an unexpected emergency. If it's unexpected, the stores and transport will probably not shut down immediately. In many areas, there are convenience stores every few blocks to buy food and water. You may not need to walk across the city if cabs and public transportation are available. And if you're out of the immediate disaster area but can't return home, there are often hotels nearby. I've done a video where I show my top 5 EDC items for an urban emergency, and I'll link it below. Thanks so much for watching. Most of the changes I've made in my EDC since the video I did in July came from ideas that were shared in the comments of that video, and I really appreciate all the feedback. As always, I'd love to hear what you find most useful in your EDC, as well as any suggestions for mine. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Be safe, be happy.